for years, Dana White has teased re-entering the boxing world. Well, that time has finally come. Not with Zuffa Boxing, if you'll recall that t-shirt he used to wear from time to time. It's not with them. He's going into business with Sheikh Turki. Let's hear it straight from the men themselves, and then we'll unpack this.
What's up, guys? We have just done a deal to start a new boxing league with Turki, who absolutely loves the sport of boxing.
I am very happy today. I give the flag of boxing to the best man who can handle it. He have a tough job now, but I am sure he will be delivering to the people and the fans the magnificent league and get boxing great again.
The model is proven to deliver the fights that the fans want to see. The best will fight the best, and the fighters will continue to move up the rankings and become world champions. We will continue to make announcements on where you can watch and all the rest of the details on the business as we get closer to the launch. I'll see you soon.
Man, Dana White must be in. He just calls him Turkey. I think the other day he called him Big Turkey. Not even Sheikh Turkey or His Excellency. Good on Dana. They must be boys. But all right, guys, what's your reaction to this? It is the boxing world, but it's the biggest presence in MMA doing his thing. And we've seen some MMA guys come over and do some boxing. So I don't think we're out of line covering it one bit. All right, we'll start with Mike Bond, TKO Group, and Turki Alalshikh enter boxing. Your reaction?
Is it bad to say I don't really care? I mean, this is still very early. I mean, you heard Dana talk about it Saturday more at the post-fight press conference for UFC 313, and I think he said something like a 12 to 18 month timeline before this could even be fully in swing. So I'm almost putting a pin in this for now. I mean, there's so many questions. I think if you listen to the media he did in New York, the most productive interview he did was it with Darren Ravel, or it was with someone. I don't think it was Ravel. It was someone else. Dan Raphael, sorry. And who's obviously a big time boxing reporter and has been there for a long time, and basically said they're trying to ignore the Ali Act and want single divisional titles and want to go back to the old school weight classes. As Dana said there, the model is, I guess, proven, and they feel like it's going to work in boxing. I have a lot of hesitation about this, what kind of fights they will get together, what type of fighters they will sign, and how they will grow, all that stuff. I do think, given Turkey's resources and the deals they have, Canelo, things like that, there will be something that has UFC or TKO Boxing Association or promotion or push or whatever. I think we expect that. But in terms of making the UFC of boxing, so to speak, and having it replicate what they've done here, I have a lot of pause about that. And I think it's very much a wait and see approach when it comes to all that stuff.
All right, Goes, you're a big boxing fan as well. Are you fired up for this announcement, this merging here of these, these two minds?
It doesn't make much sense to me. I don't understand. Look, with the UFC, Dana White's got to be under tremendous stress. I can't imagine what it's like to look at his phone and some of the texts he probably gets, right? Then he creates the slap fighting, which puts more on his plate. And now you want to jump into boxing? Dude, the model that the UFC does, if you take any pieces of it, I just don't see it working in boxing. In mixed martial arts, money talks a lot, right? You can make a lot of things happen. But in boxing, a lot of these guys, they already have money. So you can't really drag them into things. I'm sure if it's ridiculous money, of course, you'll get some people to do some stuff. But for the most part, these guys have already made a lot of money, and they're looking for other things in contracts, things that usually the UFC is not too excited about, right? Giving those types of things to their fighters. So I don't know, man. This just seems like something that's going to drive them crazy. The boxing world can sometimes be the Wild West, and you're making big promises when you're saying the best are going to fight the best, because you don't have access to all the best. That's the difficult thing about boxing, is sometimes you're dealing with so many entities and they just all want the same thing. Nobody wants to give up anything. So to me, this seems like a nightmare for him to try and get involved. If you're going to doubt a guy like Dana White, that's kind of tough to do because he has done some pretty crazy things, but I don't think the boxing world is a good fit for Dana White.
I think Dana White is just a tutor for the next couple of years, and he's getting paid handsomely. So some rich college student just didn't study and he needs help, but I think that's what it is. Personally, the money was too good to pass up. I don't think he needed something else on his plate, but here we are. But I bet you he's getting paid handsomely, and then Dana's just going to show him the ins and outs. But they're also doing business on MMA. It'll work out. Danny, your reaction, man. What do you think of this?
I have more of a concerned take on this. Like I do wonder if this does have success, like what it could do to boxing, because we've always looked at boxing, or at least a lot of MMA fighters, the top ones, have always looked at boxing as the end goal, right? Francis Ngannou, Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal. You mentioned like all the top stars have always, even Anderson Silva at some point wanted to box. Roy Jones Jr. and then, well, he eventually went to boxing, but there's certain freedoms there that they get that they don't get in mixed martial arts, that they don't get in the UFC. And it seems that, again, we don't know all the details, but by bringing the UFC model to the boxing model, it looks like they want to own the titles. For those that don't know, that only strictly watch mixed martial arts, the titles are not owned by the promotions. Matchroom, Golden Boy, they don't own the titles. There are separate organizations, independent organizations, WBO, BA, etc., that own these belts. So now it looks like TKO wants to bring their own belt, own it, very much like they do with the UFC belt, and sort of have boxing fights under the UFC model, which we've seen that for fans, it's probably good. We do get more fights, I do think, in terms of the best fighting the best in mixed martial arts compared to boxing, at least at a higher frequency rate. But like we've seen how bad it can be for the fighters, right? We've seen how bad it can be for competing promotions. So I don't know. I am concerned as far as, and they're getting backed by Big Turkey, by Saudi with all this money. Like, I don't know. To me, this is not good news for combat sports, in my opinion.
You think it'll succeed though?
Yeah, I mean, you got so much money, and Dana White is not a dumb guy. He knows what he's doing. And in terms of the Muhammad Ali Act and all that, well, if Donald Trump is president, that's his buddy. So we know that maybe certain things can change, could potentially change. So, yeah, I do think that out of all the new organizations coming out there, like TKO, whose stock price is soaring right now, and, you got the Saudi money, Dana White has a lot of connections. I do think that they can have a lot of success. Yeah.